Hi there, welcome back to my channel. How have you been doing? Are you okay? Are you sanitizing? Are you wearing your mask? Are you vaccinated? Are you vaccinated? Anyways, that aside, in today's video we're talking about financial mistakes that we have made in our lives, mistakes that we don't want you to do, mistakes that we want you to sort of be aware of if you're doing them, mistakes that I would not want to go back to. And as we tackle this discussion, I have with me my lovely friend. Introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Patricia Sasera, a co-founder of Financial Diet. It's a financial literacy company based in Uganda.
Welcome, Patricia.
Thank
you
you
for being here.
Thank you, Barbara.
So, Patricia, let's get straight to the point.
Yeah.
We've done mistakes.
Oh, quite many. And
we're here to be vulnerable.
Put ourselves there.
Yes, to whoever is watching this video.
So that someone can learn something from this.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what would be your number one financial mistake?
My very number one mistake was failure to pay myself first after getting my salary. What do I mean? After getting your salary, you're supposed to allocate a certain percentage, very small, for yourself. You pay yourself just to say thank you for working. So that, and when I talk of paying yourself, is you're putting that money aside, you're saving that money. If you can't, then you can either use a forced saving scheme like an insurance annuity or fixed deposits, where you know at least you're able to keep your money there and you cannot touch it. You put that money aside so that at the end of the day, later after you've worked, after a period of time, you know that at least what I've been working and I've managed to have this for myself, not putting all the money into expenses.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you find you don't have anything, but you've been waking up early, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And you have nothing.
But you have nothing to show for that.
Very sad.
Yeah.
So, in addition to your point, my financial mistake, my number one, what I would call my number one, was that mine was like to the contrary of what you've said.
Okay.
I used to save. I used to pay myself. But I never used to invest.
Okay.
When you save, and when you saving is good.
But you save with a purpose,
Exactly.
with a target of your... Actually, when you're saving with a purpose, it gives you morale to move on, to keep increasing a small penny you use. So you're like, you can easily forego an expense that you can, if you see this, I can forego this, and you're like, okay, I can forego this, and I put that money. Because as you save and you're like, you have a target, you really want to reach that target.
True. Like if you have a savings goal, once you reach it, it's like an achievement. You know how you are supposed to run like a marathon or even if sports.
Yeah.
You get it,
and
then
you come at the end, you celebrate. It gives you, if you're on a marathon and you see you're leading, it gives you energy to keep running.
Going on.
Yeah.
So I used to save, I never used to invest. And of course with inflation, the 500,000 of 2013, for example, is not the same as today's, 500,000. So inflation was eating my money and I was not growing my money. I was just preserving it. I feel like I preserved it, but not preserving it in a better way. Okay. It was sort of devaluing it. It was depreciating. Let me just say that. So save, invest. Saving is good, investing is better.
Yeah.
If you save and not invest, you're not completing the equation.
Yeah.
If you save and invest,
for the equation to be completed, you save and invest. True. And when you're saving, save with a purpose. Please.
Yes.
Put that target there. Put that target there so that it helps you put in more effort as you're doing that.
That's true.
Yeah.
What is your other mistake?
My other mistake is, can I say, living a fresh life? When I talk of a fresh life, is you live a life to impress others. Actually, it's not about me. It's not about
living for others.
It's for others, living for others. Or
the dresses you wear,
everything. You're like, I want to be seen with this. I want to be seen with this. But the people you're trying to impress, my dear, they even don't notice you. If only we can know, Barbara, if we can know that I can meet you and you even don't notice the phone I'm holding, the dress I'm holding.
iPhone users.
No, seriously, Barbara, if only, do you know that we can meet, like the way we are together now, and you even don't notice the earring I'm wearing. But you don't know that when I was living that life, probably I'm going to meet a Barbara. I'll be like, I want Barbara to see this. I want Barbara to see this. So I go and spend the little money that I have.
Please note on that. Let's put a disclaimer. It's okay to look good. It's okay to have nice things, but let them be within your
means. Thank you.
That is
a thing. Yeah.
Well, like highlight that.
Yeah. And then where you find you're just buying one item for one occasion, just because you're going to do this, true. You spend the little money that you have.
On that it's not really necessary. I think that is my. To add on your point, I think that
and your other mistake related to that
impulse buying. When you talk about using something just for the sake of using it at that point, maybe you're going for a party, you don't think through it.
Dress code, and you think since they put a dress code, even they say white, much as you have a white dress in your wardrobe, you're like, nah,
I have to buy something. I have to wear something new.
I need to buy something
or
new.
My friends would be going
have
shopping.
Seen this. No, my friends have seen this. Exactly. So I have to buy that.
So much, but they're your clothes.
They're your clothes. And I mean, you're not there to impress them.
Exactly. So I used to just shop just because my friend is going shopping, just because my friend says, oh, there is this thing trending, just because my friend says, oh, there is a party and you won that dress before, that shoe before, how are they going to see me wearing that dress the second time? It is your dress and you bought to wear it until it gets old.
Thank you. Okay. As long as it's of good quality, can always be rewarded.
And by the way, the other thing is under impulse buying. I used to, because I could not afford
the much, that's what always happens.
So I used to buy
as long as you're doing impulse buying, you never buy expensive things because you don't have the money. You understand? You find you have clutter.
You can't impulse buy expensive things.
No. So give yourself a target. I mean, you're like, okay, let me buy quality.
So out of that, what would you tell? Like, what have you learned, or how did you overcome it?
How I overcame it is like I told myself, if I want, first of all, I consider buying quality now. I go for
quality over quantity.
Yes, I consider quality as long as I have my good quality, wherever, everything that I purchase, be it household items, be it what, because then there I'll be like, and how I overcame that is by making a budget. If it's not on my budget, I will not go for it. I will not buy for it. I will not go for it. I make a budget. I know I'm supposed to buy this. It's on my budget. I'll purchase it. I don't just go.
So plan for your shopping, plan for your expenses, budget for them. Have it in plan that you want to wear something. Live within your means. Save. Okay. My other mistake, Patricia, that I did was to not save for retirement. And this is why. I used to think, I mean, when I graduated from uni, started working maybe at the age of 20-something, to me, there is no way Barbara would think about retirement.
You would not see yourself like, you're like, oh, that's for Papa.
That's like for my mom and my dad and people who are old, but look at us now.
Yeah, here we are.
What I've learned is the earlier you plan for your retirement, the easier it becomes.
And you know what? When you're signing in, let me give you a very good advice. When you're signing in into these schemes, they have a program they use. When you're younger, like for these pension schemes or retirement schemes, when you're younger, for example, when you're younger, the money you pay when you're 25, you give yourself a target. Let's say you want to raise 30 million. I'm just giving an example. Let's want to raise 30 million after 10 years. If you're 25 and someone who is 30, you don't contribute the same. You find they put your age and they put the other one's age, and you find you're contributing less because they know the risk. The older you are, you're easily croaking that death. You understand? So normally, if you start early, and you find even when you start early, you don't have pressure. You're saving a little money compared when you're older. When you're older, you're like under pressure. You're like, my God, I need to have this kind of this much amount at this age. I'm approaching that age, so you're straining. But if you're younger, you do it at your own convenience.
That's true. And how I like to look at planning for retirement at a young age is like, this is what I always say to my friends or people I've talked to. It's like planning for a journey. say you're going to, for example, from Kampala to Nairobi, okay? You want to arrive in Nairobi at 5 a.m. maybe of the next day. So if I set off from Kampala at, for example, 3 a.m. or okay, like 3 p.m. today, and I want to arrive in Nairobi at 5 a.m. If I set off at 3 p.m., I will drive faster, and not even faster, like my journey will be smoother. I will not be in panic than someone who sets off at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. The pressure of beating that deadline.
Yeah.
So if you start earlier in your 20s, in your 30s to plan for retirement, you don't have to strain yourself saving so much than if you're 40 or 50 and you just have maybe like 5-10 years to retire, and that is when you're beginning to plan or to save for retirement. It will strain you so much than if you are 20 or 30. Instead of saving, for example, if my target is to have 50 million shillings by the time I retire, if I start now at 30, I can just save like maybe 100 or 1 million per year, per month, whatever your target is. Than if I'm 50 and I begin to save, it will require me to save above 10 million for me to reach 50 million.
That's true. And also the comfort it gives you, when you're there, you be comfortable, you have a fallback position. If you have kids behind, you understand, as in you're comfortable, like you have something you can back on. You're not looking at working until you're 80 years.
Or putting the burden on your kids. In our generation, I feel like we should not do that to our kids.
Please, let's try to invest
plan for retirement, because we all know that this is coming. It's not a surprise.
Let's plan for our retirement.
The earlier you do it,
the better. Then the other thing is overspending, which will lead you to live on a paycheck in, paycheck in. You find you're spending all the money. You may not be indebted, but then again you will live as long as up to the last day for you to receive the next paycheck. So that if that one paycheck misses, your life is in a disaster. You understand? As in, you can't survive with even a delay in one day. It can, maybe you may go when you've not eaten.
How does someone, and I know that is it's a common mistake that people do, one that is really sad. Okay. So what would you advise someone?
I would advise someone
I feel like it's a rat race.
To create another stream of income. And when I talk of another stream of income, I mean, we can use our talents. Do you know that you can use your profession, your career, your profession to earn you something else? If you're a counselor, for example, working, having an 8 to 5 p.m. job, you can do counseling outside. You understand? Try to use the knowledge that you have. Those who are gifted with the skills, maybe doing crafts, whatever, but try to have other alternative source of income. That's the only way how it will help you. Then if you are able, maybe you've invested and you have your businesses going on, you can consider that. But if before you reach there, try to create another option of another source of income. Then another thing is to minimize the spending. Minimizing the spending, because when you talk of minimizing the spending, there are some expenses we make and they're not really necessary. If you track down your eating out expenses, if there is something that you can do for yourself instead of paying someone else to do, I'm not saying that you should punish yourself and all that, but if you realize that it is something that is tackling on your income and it's not available, then don't go for it.
So I feel that that point, living in most cases, people who live from paycheck to paycheck, which I like to call the rat race, you will find in most cases people will be living beyond their means. Number one. Number two, they will not be in charge of their expenses. They will not know where most of their money is going. You find that you're spending on something that is really silly or something that you can deal away with so that you save that money. Maybe you find someone is eating out a lot, someone is...
They're not tracking their expenses. What I would recommend is at least get 1 month, track your expenses. After 1 month, go through your expenses. Find out if that expense was really necessary. If there was the other way, you would have gone around it instead of spending that money. Trust me, you find different, like you find a small percentage that you would have saved. Once you allocate that percentage, then save it on the next month. Every time you do that, you be like, okay, here I spent on this, but I can go without it. Then you put it back onto your saving like that. That way you're growing, you're saving that yourself.
That's true. My final point is not educating myself when it comes to money, financial literacy. Like, I feel money is something that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, like on a daily, but rarely do we, find time. rarely do we find time, or do we create time to actually teach ourselves to educate ourselves about money. And this is a mistake I did. I know better now. I really invest in financial literacy in myself. Like, I have books I read, I have mentors, I talk to people. I try to educate myself. This thing that I interact with on a daily that affects most of the important areas in my life.
Lack of that knowledge.
Yeah, so please, if you haven't, taught yourself or interested yourself with learning about money, please do. You will thank us later.
Financial Diet has a program for you.
Exactly.
You can enroll and you can better yourself in that field. That's something else. The very last point we should talk about: using money to cure boredom. You're bored, you're like, let me step out.
Entertain yourself. Even when you didn't plan for it.
Even when it's not planned, do you understand? Just because you're bored, you feel like sitting somewhere. Do you know where you're sitting, you're spending? Do you know that? And remember, it was not on the budget, but just because you're bored. I mean, if you really feel bored, pick something, pick a book and read. Do some interesting skill, as in do something that interests you. Watch a movie, read a book, go jogging, but instead of using money to cure boredom, because you're spoiling money. And once you do that, you find even you spend way beyond, because you want to satisfy your soul.
So anyway, guys, that's it. I hope if there is any mistake that you're doing, please let us know in the comment section. If there is a mistake that you're doing, or there's a mistake that you used to do and you've overcome, please do let us know in the comment section how you overcame it. And if you're still, if it's still holding, if that mistake is still holding you, please also do let us know in the comment section. Maybe so people can help you out, or let the conversation begin.
You can share with us your mistakes as well, and we try to find how we can go beyond it.